welcome to another episode of Toby's Barbecue Corner. Today we're making pulled beef burgers with homemade coleslaw. Now what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. And this is what we need for today. Now obviously we need a piece of beef, and you can use any piece of beef you like. Now preferably obviously not necessarily a fillet or a ribeye, but something that is nice in the Dutch oven. So this is what is called a Semerolle. Now the Semerolle comes from the top part of the leg of the cow, close to the tail, and it's fantastic to do in the Dutch oven. So what else do we need? Obviously you need a Dutch oven. This is my size 9 Dutch oven. We need some soup vegetables, so carrot, leek, bulbous celery. You need a couple cloves of garlic, quite a bit of onions, a beer, you need some Coca-Cola, you need your favorite rub, you need some tomato paste, some coconut oil to fry your vegetables in, as well as some barbecue sauce. Now for the coleslaw, you need 1 cabbage, you need a little bit of sugar, salt, pepper, some white balsamic vinegar, you need some olive oil, as well as a bio apple. Whilst the meat is already looking okay, I just want to trim it a little bit. You know, there's some hard fat on top here that I want to take off. But don't take off too much fat, because obviously it is not a particularly fatty kind of cut. So you want to have a little bit of fat in there that renders down, and obviously gives you a phenomenal taste as well. Just just watch out if you have areas that might not render down and then are harder to pull later on. So you just cut that off. But as I said, it's already looking quite okay. Maybe this piece here. Just take that off. And then we're gonna season it with our favorite rub. Now, as I said, you can use any rub you like. Whatever you find works best for you. Right, I think that should technically already do it. Yeah, I think we're okay. So what we're gonna do is, to keep the mess at least a little bit at bay, take one of those cooking forms, those consist forms, and we're gonna start seasoning. I'm going to use a beef rub for it, but as I said, you can use any rub you like. Also, what I'm not going to do is, simply because I don't see a reason for it, because obviously we're going to be braising it, I'm not going to stick it in the Dutch oven and give it a sear, simply because afterwards it's going to sit in the coke and the beer and its own juices and whatnot, and I don't think after 4 or 5 hours of actually braising it you will feel any of the bark or any of the sear marks that have formed. So it's really a waste of time. But do give it quite a good once over with the rub. Make sure everything sticks nicely, and then we'll move on to the vegetables. With the soup vegetables, very quickly what I've done is I've already peeled the carrots, and we're just going to slice them into, these kind of little chunks. Don't worry about it, as this will cook for a while, you don't have to go overly fine on them. But obviously cut them up so that they can really release all their lovely flavors. And we're just gonna put them into a bowl. The same with the leek as well. Obviously I've washed it before. I've taken off the outer part of this, simply because it was too dirty in my opinion. So pretty much standard size, I'd call it. Also in with the carrots. I'm going to cut up that carrot later on. And then with the bulbous celery, what I've done is I've already peeled it. And with that too, you want to cut it in little chunks, maybe squares in that sense. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to finish this off now. I'm going to show you how to quickly cut those onions. Right, all that chopping is done. Now for the bulbous celery, you only need about half of a whole one, or if you buy a set, just use up whatever you have. And now to the onions. Now you can get large onions, those massive ones, but I didn't get them because I couldn't find any in the supermarket, actually, to my big surprise. So, if you get those big ones, just get like 3 maybe 2 or 3, depending on really on the size that they have. If anything, just substitute them with smaller ones. You can use red onions, you can use those white ones. It's really up to you and what kind of taste you're looking for. But I just find that, you know, these little white ones work perfectly fine. And then with them as well, don't worry about, you know, chopping them too fine, simply because they're going to cook down. So no need to go too much to town on them. And that should already do it. So I'm gonna chop up the rest. And then it's almost time to get cooking outside on my barbecue. Time to take care of our homemade coleslaw. So what you want is take your cabbage and cut it in half. And this is really a quick and simple recipe. So what you want to do is obviously you want to remove the inner part, because obviously that is not edible. So we're gonna take that out, throw it away. Do it with the other side exactly the same way. And obviously, yeah, that is a lot, but we will be a few people to eat this. And now what you want to do is obviously, you know, you want to cut it and cut it as fine as you can. You know, really take your time and cut it down as fine as you can. Fast forward, first time all cut up, and now what you want to do is you want to cut it sideways into, you know, those lovely kind of like bite-sized chunks. And then we're just going to put it into our bowl. Do the same thing with this side here. There we go. All in. Maybe remove bigger chunks if you see any, because obviously eating experiences is very important. Alright, then we put it in, and now what we need a little bit of salt. A little more. A little bit of freshly ground black pepper. Now you can obviously use any pepper you like. And then a little bit of sugar. Now you can again use any sugar you want. I prefer to use brown sugar. Maybe like 2-3 teaspoons, something like that. Obviously you don't want it too sweet. And then, hence the gloves, you really want to get in there and break down the structure of that coleslaw and make sure that whatever moisture is in the coleslaw starts to come out as well. It gets drawn out from the salt, sugar and pepper mix. And then it will get really, really nice later on. And don't worry guys, if it's too much, you know, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in a Tupperware box. You know, you can eat that a couple of days later as well, and it's just going to be absolutely delicious. Next we're going to take some of that balsamic vinegar, sprinkle it on top. Then some nice olive oil as well. And then in the end, we're going to take our apple, take one of those graters, and that's why you need a bio apple, because we're just going to grate that in, and that is our little secret weapon. It will really make this dish absolutely lovely. And give it another once over, good mix. Set it to the side, put it in the fridge, and then take it out later on when you're ready to assemble our burgers. Now obviously, do a taste test. You know, if you need any more salt, any more sugar, any more pepper, you can always put in. Taking out is rather difficult, so make sure you do this properly. Alright, and that is pretty much our coleslaw. Perfect weather for a Dutch oven dish. So the barbecue is sitting at 200 degrees, the Dutch oven is nice and hot. We're going to throw in some of that coconut oil. We're going to let that melt And then we're going to take care of our soup veggies as well as the onions. Nicely melted and in with the soup vegetables. Give them a bit of a sear. So they got a little bit of temperature. Now we're going to throw in our onions. Give that a good mix. Let them come up to temperature and get them some color. And then we're going to take care of our tomato paste. A couple of minutes later, they're starting to look like how I want them. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a nice little hole over here. And then we're going to use our tomato paste and give it a good heat, because obviously you want a lot of lovely flavors in there. And then we're going to give that a little bit of a sear, and then we're going to mix it all the way in. Right, a couple of minutes later, we're nice and soft. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, yes. We're going to try to create another little passage in the center. And then we're going to take our Semerolle and place it right in the middle. May have to squeeze a little. It's a long piece of meat, but not particularly thick, but it fits nicely in there. And we're going to add in the beer, both sides. Obviously you can do it without the beer, you can do it with beer, however you like. And then we're going to add in the Coke. And we want it about 3/4 covered, so it is quite a bit of liquid that we need. About like that. And then for good measure we're going to add in some barbecue sauce as well. And now we're going to let that sit until it reaches about 94, 95 degrees internal. So we're going to check periodically, also make sure that we have enough liquid in there. And then guys, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. And as a final note, you see that little gap here as well as there. Try to offset it to really make sure that your Dutch oven is nicely closed, to make sure that all the moisture stays inside. Exactly 5 hours and 20 minutes later, let's have a quick look. And guys, that smells amazing. So I'm just gonna put the lid to the side. Going to put the Dutch oven to the side as well. Here we go. And then we're going to take the Semerolle out of the Dutch oven. And it has reached its internal temperature of 94 degrees. And there we go, guys. And what we're going to do now is we're going to strip it, and look how easy that pulls apart. How lovely and nice, and it really smells great. So I'm going to pull this now, and then we're going to cover it back in some of the juices that it sat in. Make it nice and juicy, and then we're going to be building our burgers. All pulled, so let's take some of that lovely sauce and just pour it straight over it. And guys, let me tell you, that smells absolutely fantastic. There we go. I'm gonna give that a bit of a mix to make sure that it's nice and juicy all around. And now it's time to build our burger and Isn't that little burger bun fantastic? Now, if you want to know how to do that, I have a video out how to make that from scratch, and I made them just today, but they're super nice, they're super fluffy. So let's get started, and what you want to do is you want to start off with the coleslaw that you made. So we're going to put some of that coleslaw on there, and let me tell you guys, that coleslaw really turned out nice. And then we're going to put some of that lovely, juicy, delicious, I don't know what other words I should use for it, but you know, our pulled beef right on top. And we close that lid. And there you go, guys. That is our pulled beef burgers with homemade coleslaw, and we're gonna dig in now. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about the pulled beef burger with homemade coleslaw. It was super delicious, so give it a try. If you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. Please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come, and I hope to see you soon again at Toby's Barbecue Corner.